So, good afternoon to everyone. We just heard the lovely introduction of Shalini Modi, who is an author, astrologer, and seeker. And we are very happy to have her amongst us. She is an avid reader of the Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Yoga Sutras. And she believes that these timeless texts still guide us on how we feel, love, and live. So, welcome, Shalini ji. Welcome to the session, Rasas in Divine Relationships, to the Indore Literature Festival. So, Shalini ji, I would like to ask you, your book centers on rasas and divine relationships. So, what inspired this theme?
First, I'd like to thank Neha and Praveen ji and Khyati for having me here. And namaste to everyone. And rasas and divine relationships. So, while reading the Puran, Mahabharata, and Ramayana, I realized that there are some total of relationships. So basically, it is various relationships between the divine, the sages, and the larger than life characters that basically are the stories that are narrated in them. And sometimes these relationships have an underlying emotion which is dominant, and also characterizes that relationship. So say, if I talk about Ahilya, Devi Ahilya and Gautam Rishi, instantly the emotion that comes to your mind is anger. And these 9 rasas that are there in Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra, I felt they are the emotions that all of us, and not just us humans, but also the divine and sages undergo. And they basically influence their relationships. So that's how I came up. Let's amalgamate the 2 thought processes, the emotions along with the relationships, and see, explain how the divine handled it. So basically, the same emotion, say Raudra Ras, is handled by us differently, but while by Gautam Rishi, the anger was handled differently. So how we can learn life lessons from these characters was the aim of the book.
So, I think that's so beautiful. And talking about rasas as emotions, we would say that the emotions that we feel and all of us go through. But in today's day and age, with the digital world and the youth having a different mindset and so much exposure and such a fast-paced world, how do you see emotions, as they are today? And how would you say that your book or the guidance that comes through your book can, the youth relate to, and how can it help them?
Right. So, again, the stories of the divine kind of lead by example. And one of them would be, say, Kunti. So, Kunti became a mother, unwed mother. And she was always, her whole life, she lived in fear. So, first it was about her secret of being unmarried mother, getting exposed. Then once she gets married, her husband marries a prettier and a wife. So a wife's insecurity. Then her husband gets cursed, and there's constant fear of him passing away and not being able to have a child. But she did not give up despite of all these fears. She handled it with great clarity in thought and action. And she remembered the boon that she was given by Durvasha Rishi when she was young. And she used that to her advantage and had the children, and then looked after them. So it's basically stories like these that teach you. And then there is my favorite couple. I know there's Shiv and Shakti. And they, if you see that, when a couple is trying to woo each other, they will usually do it with materialistic things. And but they always go into penance to achieve each other. So when Sati Ma immolates herself, Shivji goes into penance. And then when she's reborn as Parvati, to gain Shivji, she goes into penance. So it's always about bettering themselves. And also, in spite of their diversity, like she will be seen in myriad of colors, wearing a red sari, bindi, sindoor, and that's how we picturize her. Someone who's an Annapurna, who's a protector, and like abundance comes with her. And then there's Shivji, who couldn't be bothered about any of it. So despite of all those disparities, still Shantras is what denotes them because of their understanding of each other. So these are the kind of stories in the book that kind of lead by example, whether it's for the young or for the older.
Absolutely. So I think the saying that opposites attract each other, basically it is Shivji and Parvati ji who have probably, brought to us. So moving on, you have also another book called The Seven Immortals, and you moved from that to, which is about eternal beings, to eternal emotions. So how did that shift happen?
So actually, it's very difficult to really pinpoint how the shift happened. It's just that, I keep penning down the thoughts that come into my mind and the what kind of books and what topics I want to write on. And Seven Immortals happened because Ashwathama's character really intrigued me because he was born with the bone of Shivji, with a jewel on his forehead, and he was blessed. He could not feel any of the human sufferings that we go through. So he never felt hunger, he never felt sadness. And despite of having such a noble birth, he made such wrong choices in his life that he was ultimately cursed to be to live as an immortal. So his character really intrigued me, and then I started reading about other seven immortals, and so it just happened. And then Rasas happened because, again, like I mentioned earlier, how the emotions and the relationships correlated. So there's no real connection. It's just what appeals to me at that point of time, yeah.
So which rasa is your favorite or probably close to your heart, maybe because of any kind of experience in your own life?
So I think Shantras is definitely a favorite because I think it's a favorite for all of us because in this chaotic world, we all want to calm our mind. But also Raudraras because I think anger is something that we all experience at some point of time. It's how you can handle that better is also, I think, a favorite topic to dwell on.
So have you been able to sort of feel that difference probably since the time you have started reading and started relating that? So have you been able to feel a difference at a personal level too?
So it's a funny story, but like when I was writing the story of Ahilya and Gautam Rishi, and then it mentions how after cursing Indra and his wife, all his punyas are destroyed because of the anger, and he had to go back to and he realizes it, and he has to go back to the Himalayas to reboot himself, if you may so say, through strict penance. So every time I feel angry, I remember that all my punya is going to get destroyed now.
Right. So that is a reminder to keep the anger in check. So basically, we all need, some reminders or, some incentive.
Absolutely.
To keep our actions, our emotions in check,
So like my teacher or my guru always says that two things drive most of us. One is fear and the other is desire.
True. That is true. So, talking about emotions again, the book that you have written, it's very beautifully written, but the cover also is so beautiful that it really reflects the depth of the emotions. So, what was the inspiration behind the beautiful cover? Maybe I'll just hold it up to the audience so they can see the cover of the book. This is the book. And so what was the inspiration?
So I had this guy called Mr. Pinagde to design the cover and a few times, and nothing was agreeing with me. Like that wow moment wasn't happening. And then suddenly he comes up with this artwork of Krishna and Radha. I mean, you can call them anything, but to me they appealed as Krishna and Radha. And I felt Shingar Ras was the best that could have actually been used to design the cover because, it's connected to beauty and aesthetics. And it just appealed to me instantly.